What's up, you guys? My name's Eric Yamamoto. Welcome to the Unplanned live stream. So, how is everyone's day going so far? How's everyone's morning going so far? It's Wednesday. It's right in the middle of the week. It is April 24th, 2024, and it is 9:05 a.m. on the West Coast, over here, Pacific time. And what do I want to talk about today? Well, we're going to be talking about camera moves. So far, we've gone over scale, angle, and now we're doing camera move. And lastly, we're going to be doing blocking. So anyways, let me hide my, what's it called? This YouTube studio thing, because it's very distracting. Hey, what's up, Rice? Welcome. It's been a minute. It's so funny. It's distracting when I look at my. Hey, Adriana, what's up? Because whenever I'm doing these live streams, I'm on OBS like this, and I'm looking at myself, and it's so like it's distracting. Because I'm just like, ooh, do I have something on my eyebrow? Do I have something over here, over there? So let me try to minimize it. Yo, Ryan, what's up, man? Welcome. And yeah, I got your Instagram. I'll message you back on the DMs for sure. So one of the things that I want to talk about before we get into camera moves is the idea of yes and. Whenever you're going and talking with a director, I like to yes and. And if they, hang on, let me figure out how to hide. Boom, that's great. Okay, can y'all see me still? Because I just took the preview off so I don't have to see my mug. Anyhow, let's start this up. So anyways, I want to talk about yes and when you're talking to directors or creators, you want to yes and them. For example, they say, oh, we want a medium shot of the guy walking down the hallway. And you go, yeah. And then we'll go do a follow shot behind him to see what he's looking at. But then you start seeing a shadow loom. Now you can let them say, no, I don't want to see the shadow loom. I actually want to see a tentacle come out of the door. And then you go, yeah. And so when you get to that point where you don't know where to go, you got to think, well, if that, then what? For example, if you see a tentacle coming out of the room, then what? Is the person going to turn and see it? If a tentacle comes out of the door, is it going to be dripping with some kind of slime or something on his shoulder? And he takes a look? And then you let them then you say, yeah. And the tentacle comes close to his ear and it drops a little bit of slime on his shoulder. And hopefully the director will say yes and back to continue the story. But this is something that I want to teach my kids. I was starting to look at the Upright Citizens Brigade book, which is an improv book. And it talks a lot about yes and, if then concepts, and also heightening, and also how to just think on your feet and be at the top of your intelligence, because that is what people, I feel, are looking for. Creators, directors, writers. You don't want to just go no, because if you say no, it stops the flow. You know what I'm saying? If you say no, it stops the flow. And you want to keep things flowing, because that's how the creative juices start creating something new. you gotta agree. You gotta agree with what is put out there. And that's one of the things I want to teach my kids. So my wife and I were thinking about turning off the TVs tonight, and her and I will show how to play some yes and with the kids. So anyhow, let's get in this. Let's go to the wheel of decision. Now I'm gonna have to put the preview on because I can't even see what the heck's going on. Oh, before we get into that, what do you guys think of the concept yes and? Have you heard about this concept before? Is it something that you use frequently? Have you heard of the Upright Citizens Brigade? Have you guys heard of, what was that other concept? If that, then what? Let me know in the chat. Or do you think this is all just a bunch of BS? Let's roll. Okay, we already did lead. I'm gonna remove that. Tilt. Let's do this. Let's do this. So, today I'm actually using Clip Studio. I wanted to try it out. I've used it in the past. I really like their line quality, but let's try to do it with roughs. And any tips? Anybody out there have tried it? Let me know. Back to the chat. Ryan says that yes, he's heard of it in the context of improv and of yes and. And Rye said, I've heard about yes and, but should definitely let it flow more. I'm too controlled in creating. 100%. I do the same thing. And one of the hardest games to do is playing yes and with yourself, because you want to keep editing. You want to keep saying, no, I don't want to go in that direction. I want to... Wait. Let me turn off Enable Preview. When you're creating, you want to just be like, no, let's edit on the fly. And when you start editing on the fly, then you start undo, and at the end of the day, you come out with nothing. That happens to me so much. It's better to make something crappy and have it out there in the universe than to not have anything at all and it's all stuck in your head. Now, I'll tell you right now, I need to practice what I preach with this, because I've had a comic book idea in my head for 20 years, and I've got a bunch of writings about it. I have a bunch of drawings, but I haven't executed it yet. Why? Because I'm afraid. I'm afraid that it will one day never exist. But it's already not existing. So I should just get started on it. And maybe that's something I should get started on today. Well, his name is Terrible Tuesday. That's the character's name. Let's see how we could do this on a tilt. So, we're in this shot language series. Can you guys see everything okay? Camera movement. Tilt. So, what is a tilt? I'd say a tilt and a pan are one of the things that are one of the more rudimentary camera moves. So, and they're very powerful rudimentary. Just same as like primitives are the rudimentary building blocks of drawing anything. You got the cube, you got the sphere, you have the cylinder, or the cone. So far, I am not feeling this program because it doesn't have the brushes that I like, but it's okay. So let's say here's your camera on a tripod. You have that little handle right there, and what a tilt is, you're going up and down. Now you might hear directors come out and say, all right, I want you to pan up and then pan back down. And don't correct them, just let them say it that way, because the director's always right, and you know what they're trying to say. They're trying to say tilt. But for you and me, it's good to keep the anatomy of shot language consistent. So let's just call it a tilt. So tilt is good looking up and down. Now, why would you do this? Why would you use a tilt? Anybody? I will look in my chats right now. I've heard about yes and should definitely let it flow more. 100% Rice. Exactly. The don't want is the biggest blocker. 100% it is. Try not to block yourself. Yep, this Terrible Tuesday is a passion project of mine. I can relate, by the way. I've been working on my comic story project for 15 years now, and it's still in the making. Well, let's get to it, you know? So why use a tilt? Well, let's take a look at Shot Deck. Well, let me just explain the reasons why I like using a tilt. Tilt, you could reveal. A tilt can show, I guess, show something off frame. What else would you use a tilt for? Tilt up, tilt down. Well, when following. Following something. Like if you see a bird and then you go up as the bird flies off the branch, or if you're looking up at an airplane and you tilt down as the airplane comes in for a landing to show relationship dynamic. That's interesting. I'll let any writers out there correct this handwriting. But there is no wrong answer, because what's the best thing, and the thing that I like to talk about most, is how you can create new meaning from shots through mistakes, happy accidents. For example, like Steven Spielberg, I remember in what is that? Close Encounters? He threw, there was a, what is that called? A lens flare that happened, and that lens flare, it was a happy accident, and it ended up becoming something beautiful. But something before that, people did not want lens flares. It would dirty up the frame. It wouldn't look good. So that's why I'm all about looking at the new ways of creating meaning for a story. and storyboarding. So yes, showing relationship dynamic. So let's explain. Let's try to make this meaning into something. Oh wait, before we do that, let's go into Shot Deck and see what they have for a tilt. Do 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 do. Shot Deck, browse shots. Let's go to a tilt. So far I don't see any tilts, but it's all right. Give me a sec, you guys. I'll be right back. I need to open up the door so then better internet comes through. I believe I am not catching the best internet. I'll be right back. Keeping the door open so the internet. All right, I'm back, and let's get into this tilt. So let's reveal. Oh, first, let me just show you my character. Is this guy named Terrible Tuesday? Well, why don't I reveal him? Why don't I show how to reveal him? So we'll start on his feet, drawing the hips. I like to break the hips up into 3 sections, like the pelvis. Also, I like to tilt that pelvis like this. Can you all see this? And then when you tilt that pelvis like that, the side that's lower is the one that is resting, and the one that's higher is the one where it has all the weight. Thank you, Rice. Thank you, Adriana. So all the weight is right here. And if this is up high and this one is low, this leg will be a little, this kneecap will be lower than the other one. But let's move this leg out like right here. It's so funny, working in a different program makes me think a little different, and it feels different. It's not how I'm feeling it. Let me see how it feels the other way. Drawing those legs. All right. So far, this is not the way that I want it to look. So I'm going to look up some reference. Look at Contrapposto. This is one of those art history terms. Contrapposto. It's this idea where you're leaning on one side of the foot. When your weight is to one side is what I'm trying to do. Kind of like this. See how one is like here? Let's copy this. This. Oh, my mother is on. Hey, tell them about your Vilpoo videos. Well, yeah, I definitely think everybody should be studying from Vilpoo. because he taught me. So anyways, so see how this is higher and this one's lower. You come through, and what's happening here, if we draw a line that comes all the way down, just like that, it hits his foot. I like doing traces, especially to warm up, because then you have a point of reference of when you are drawing it without. So let's take a look at that. Nice, you have one of his books, Ryan. Dope. So anyways, we'll go like this. We'll draw a line that comes down, and it looks like the heel. The line hits the heel. Drawing is all about relationships. And then, so here's the first leg coming in like this. And then the second leg does this thing where it kind of drags, or it kind of is slack. Rice, the book is called The Drawing Manual by Glenn Villepeu. I'll write it in here. The Drawing Manual by Glenn Villepeu. There you go. So let's do something like this. So I'm drawing this character, Terrible Tuesday. So, thanks, Turner. Welcome. So, before I get into what Terrible Tuesday is and all this stuff, basically what a tilt is, we're going to come from the feet. We'll start from the tilting up. So we'll start on the feet. Let's come right here. Let's say that's the weight-bearing leg because it's tilted up higher, and the lower one over here. Let's say it's like this. By the way, I highly recommend everybody try teaching because it allows you to deconstruct the way that you think. It allows you to think about how you do your work, and then you can figure out how to correct your work. Like right now, when I'm looking at the leg, like one thing I thought about was how a profile leg, one of the things I do is look for the rhythms. So let's go like this, tilt it. See, I have this problem. I always go horizontal when what I need to do is go diagonal. I gotta think dynamic. I gotta think asymmetry. So anyways, what I noticed here is that this leg right here is pointed this way, and so it's not frontal, it's more profile. So when you draw something like that, You draw that hip going diagonal. There we go. Trying to get that muscle memory to think asymmetry. Oh, let's say that's where the foot is going to be right here. That's what I'm looking for. That kind of a rhythm when I'm doing this profile leg. This rhythm is like water. It's like a flowing stream. That's how I learned about it. And then you could break it down even further, which, like, this is the big stroke, you know? So like if you're going to do like a gesture, just, you know, you could do something like this. And there's your legs. So I go here and do that rhythm over there like that. And then this leg over here is, so this is more what they call like an S curve or an S shape. And this one right here, when it comes out like that, it does this kind of letter B. So when I do something like that, I'll come out like this, because here's the angle, like that, and then I'll draw that letter B. Again, I'm going fast right now, so it doesn't look like beautiful, but let's go try this again. We come here, here, let's angle it like this. Say the back foot's right here. So, this is how we show a tilt. We come from here, and then we got to go up, right? So if we're low on the ground, then we tilt up. We're going to go like from here. So oh man, I'm like, all my keyboard shortcuts are all messed up because I'm in Clip Studio. Say that's where the legs are. So we'll put the knees. We'll put the knees right here. Let's take a look. So here's the shoulders right here. So let's say this one's lower. Wait, is that right? Yeah. This one's lower, this one's higher. We'll have him come right here. If that's going that way, we'll tilt it the opposite way. So we start on the feet and then we tilt up. gotta say though, I really love the brushes over here in Clip Studio. They just, I don't know, they feel more natural. It reminds me of like Painter almost. Has anybody out there tried Painter? So, right, I really can't unsee it when I go back to Photoshop. So, that's the tilt. What are we doing here? We're starting kind of flat on right here on the feet, like this. And then we tilt up and we get this kind of low angle, forced perspective shot of this person. I threw these in there showing that it's the like whatever the ceiling. I do this a lot. It's like a grid, and I think they do it in animation a lot. But again, if this doesn't sell it, I'll come back and I will distort it a little bit more like this. And once I distort it like that, I will erase it again. And because it still looks a little flat, like what I'll do is I will redraw the surface topology. For example, like see this right here, see how it looks kind of flat? Like the resurface topology, what I'll do is I'll go like this and I'll just redo. This is the surface topology. This is the surface topology. I mean, in actuality, you should be going like, I should be going like this. But it takes a little bit more time, more thought. I used Painter a while back, but only for the blending. Once Photoshop could do it, yeah, that's dope. Yep, the blending is great. Triana, I love Clip Studio. I don't use Photoshop anymore. You know, I want to get away from the subscriptions. It's so much money. So anyways, I'll resurface the topology again by coming through. Either I'll choose the ball or I'll choose like a cylinder, or maybe even, I mean, probably a cylinder is good because then you want to see underneath their head. And usually when you're looking under someone, you're going to see more of their neck. Street cleaning. I don't know if you guys could hear that street cleaning. Is this song on repeat? Bro. It is on repeat. I'm like, man, this is so boring. Let's go to this song. Let's go to a different lo-fi channel. I really like this this channel called Lofi Girl. I don't know if you guys heard of it. There we go. So drawing that neck. The traps will kind of be hidden right back there. Because things are receding away, things get closer to each other. So the chest is a little bit closer to the collar. And then we got the rib cage right here. You have your, what are those things called? The lats right there. And you got the obliques. And then you got the hips. And then let's say right here is the middle, or let's say belly button right here, but this is where the waist starts. Oh yeah, wait, it's at an angle, so when you're this way, this will have more crunch on this side. Like when in terms of animation, like squash and stretch, this has more squash. But because we're looking up, it'll be more like that, and then stretch will be more like that. Here, let's just look back at this guy right here. So this is the stretch side, and this is more of the squash side. So simple, this is complex. That's another thing I learned. So how do we make it look like this? So let's say this is the simple side. This is the complex side. It's okay to keep adjusting your drawings. I'd say what's more important in storyboarding is the gesture. But when you're doing like advertising boards and stuff, construction is more important. You can make that mess look stiff as you want. But if you make it look loose, if you make it look rubbery, then that's not rubbery. If you make it look if you make it look like it has energy, there you go. It's even better. All right, I think I'm noodling too much, and this is what happens with overthinking. You start thinking about it too much. But basically, what I'm trying to say is that I'm tilting from the foot up to his head. So what I was doing here later when we talk about booming is when the camera isn't on a tilt, it's booming is like this. The camera's going up like that. So if this is a tilt where you're going like this, okay, come on, muscle reflexes. If that's tilting, booming, this is the ground. This is booming. You're literally lifting the camera up. So it's not on a, what is this called? It doesn't have a fulcrum. It's literally you're on your knees and you're coming up. So this is how I would show booming. And this is how I would show tilting. Get those angles in. Get those low angle to high angle. So, reveal. Let me turn this off. Let me save this. And I'm going to put it in. Where do I go? Live stream. This is called Tilt. This is episode 16, Tilt. this as a Photoshop doc, save, and I am going to quit out a clip. Why? Because I want to go to my first love, Photoshop. I'm just quicker in Photoshop. So there was this tilt that I remember in the film 28 Days Later, where you're seeing Jim fight this guy. And you're seeing him here. He's holding this guy's eyes like that. And he's on top of this army guy like that. And you start from his face. And you're coming down, and then you tilt down to this guy right there. So we were actually on the floor level. The camera was actually on the floor level. And we were tilted up at Jim, and then we tilted down on him right there. So why don't we try that? So what I would do in that situation is first draw the guy on the ground. I think he was more 3/4 rather than me like straight on top of the head. I feel as though it was more like just how I remember it. It's weird. Drawing in that perspective. follow those lines. Follow those lines. Make a hyperextend. Bending it out a bit like that. And I'm making him his head should be a little bit smaller because he's further away from us. He's further away from the camera at least. Should be using reference, but if you don't, since I don't, it'll be okay. Let's make that head smaller. Just keep remembering, when things go away from you, the surface lines, the topology, also goes away from you. So that's what I'm trying to remember. But at the same time, I'm thinking about anatomy, I'm thinking about gesture, I'm thinking about all that stuff. By the way, I'm doing a storyboard workshop for BAFTA May 4th. I don't know, I'm thinking maybe I should try like live streaming it. So here's the rough. Let's see if it all fits. So we're right here. Looks like it fits. I like doing this kind of thing where you go here. So you can see that we are coming down. Tilting from Jim's face to the dude's eyes. Let me get a little more comfortable. I'm going to bring this on down. And oops. So let's start fleshing this out. Why don't I take this, bring it over here. Let's make it a 40. And let's feel free to ask any questions. So here's the simple side. This is the complex. Also, if when I'm drawing this stuff, what I'll also do is if I'm having trouble with this pose, I'll go and just Google search this. Um, I'll go and search wrestler, choking person. So images. So I'll go and start looking at things like this. I mean, this is close, but let's see if there's anything else. Here, let me see. Kneeling. I'm writing kneeling, choking a person. So this is close. So maybe I should look for that. CPR. Oh, this is close right here. This is kind of close. So I'm starting to get some references that might work. Again, you're not going to find the perfect reference. So, but you're just trying to get a feel. I think I'm going to use this guy right here for the feel of it. So let's see. Again, complex, simple. This dude's knee is like that. His other knee comes like out this way, kind of more towards the camera. Make that knee big. Make this leg a little bit smaller. And then I'm gonna have the dude's that he's choking. Here's his body. Here's the dude on the ground's torso. And then we'll have his dude on the ground's neck right here. Let's angle that canvas. Dude's head. Actually, I think the chin will be hidden a little bit more. Like this. And then I want to really... And if this isn't working, you know what I'll do? I'll go ahead and make the head into a cube. Cubes are such helpful little tools. Look at that. Look at that. If you draw an X right here, there's the middle point. That's where your ear will go. It's just some reference for myself. Let's do this. Let's make the head a little bit bigger, like it's closer to camera. Let's knock it back. Let's flip it just so I can see what it looks like from the other side. your lines. Here's the forearm. This is the elbow. So if the elbow's right here, then the elbow should be over here. See how I'm even changing it from the original? It's because I feel it's okay to change it, because if it's going to make the composition better, if it's going to make the gesture better, it's going to make just the whole shot better. But then he's also kind of reaching back. Follow those lines. Let's use the cube again. And by the way, I never have this much time to work on one frame. Another thing that I'll do is that I'll take something like this little head, and I'll try to use it as reference. There's this one guy that I know. His name's Caesar Lemus. Great artist, great storyboard artist, and he carries around this little action figure, which I think is super smart, because then he could get his character in any angle he needs without any like help from, oh, somebody pose for me, or hey, somebody, I always wanted to know where he got it, and he told me he got it from like eBay, so I'm like, guess I can't get that. But I think they came out with these new characters like for anime, where you can kind of contort them a bit, not contort them, I don't know what it's called. But yeah, there you go. That's not too bad. Let's flip it and let's take a look and see. Yeah, it's like he has to do it, but he doesn't want to do it. Add this. Bring this down. Now let's go to a 70. I love 70%. Let me bring back my little head. Remember where that ear is gonna go. This is what's gonna help sell us looking up. Has anybody seen anything interesting lately? Any kind of any movies that I should be watching? Been wanting to watch Dune 2. Clavicle. Dune had an amazing feel of space. That's cool. Like in terms of just like how vast everything was. this, but also certain shots or scenes had this unreal feeling to them, which makes sense because of how Paul is connecting with visions in him. Interesting. Yeah, okay. I'll check that out. Hi Eric, I just wanted to ask, what's the purpose of flipping the images as you're drawing? I notice you do it sometimes. Yes, so I flip my image like this because it gives me a different way of looking at, how do I explain this? I flip it just to give me another perspective, just how to look at it. Like I might draw I might draw something. How do I explain it? It just gives you it allows you to see the mistakes that you made. For me, it's like here, why do I flip? All right, so I flipped the image. So, all right, so when I realized flipping the image, so I'm right-handed. It's easier for me to draw people looking from right to left. Like this. It's just easier for me. So when I wanted to draw someone looking the opposite way from left to right like this, it's always been a little bit harder because my hand tends to starts blocking the face. But if I flip the image, then it becomes left to right, and now it's easier for me to draw it. And then I can flip it on back. But then I started to notice, hey, I'm flipping the shot. This doesn't look right when I do it this way. So I'm able to correct the image. I know, like back in pre-digital, what they would do is they would use a mirror, and they would put a mirror next to their drawing, kind of like they would put a mirror, like if this were real life, this is the mirror. Flip horizontal, and then you could see you could see if like what's right or what's wrong with the drawing. It's a way of double checking my work. I don't know. I hope that made sense. Does anybody, Ryan, do you flip your images much? Adriana, Rice, do you guys flip your images? I'm just curious who else, if someone could give a better explanation. Oh, you do, Adriana. So why do you flip your images? It's an eye refresher trick, yes. By the way, you guys, starting next week, I'm going to be on a job, so I have to figure out a new time slot for all of us. I have to figure out a new, like when I'll be streaming. thinking it might be sometime after work. I'm thinking maybe like 5 or 5 o'clock Pacific. I know that it affects you, Rice, and maybe it'll affect you too, Andrew, but we'll figure it out. Oh man. What time is it right now in Poland, Rice? Again, I'm not sure. I just know uh, to, I have something during the time, 7 p.m. currently. Oh wow. Okay. Let me figure out the best times. So, I mean, maybe I'll still be able to do it. I'm not sure. We'll have to see. Oh, thanks, Rice. So let me ask, on Instagram, who are some of your guys' favorite artists that you follow? I'm always looking for new people to follow. Totally. It is a lot of content, and like these days it's all advertisements on Instagram. Gets kind of annoying. But then again, how are they gonna make money if they don't have advertisements? I guess they could sell products. That's something I'm thinking about trying to do, is sell some products. But I gotta figure out what the heck to make. Oh, you like collecting them into folders. I've been wanting to create my own database of image reference. I just don't know how. Or I'm not the best at organizing stuff. I mean, how do you like to organize it, Rice? Is it like, oh, I want to humans, and then males, and then females, and then like, how do you do it? could be tricky indeed. I think I keep changing and adjusting the current energy flow, what I need, unless looking up in reference for sitting poses running. I see, I see. Yeah, I just use like Google Images, and that helps me out. Or I use Pinterest. But yeah, it's so messy. I know people that are super organized with it. Yeah, tagging would be an interesting way. Draw through. It's a very important thing to do. Oh, that rhymed. Yeah, that's totally true with Pinterest. Pinterest is hell to me, says Rice, because it's so good. I can't stop clicking on new images, and every time I look for something, it literally takes hours to get out. Oh my god, that's totally true. You get like sucked into it. You want to keep on like looking for new stuff, and then I start bookmarking things. I bookmark everything, and then oh my god, my Pinterest account is like full of folders. So this is his leg from underneath. Okay. So let's draw his neck. This is an Andrew Loomis trick. Man, I really love how you guys are all talking to amongst each other because that's the way to learn. Like, when I was in art school, I didn't learn from my teachers, I learned from my peers. I still don't know how to use this tool. Oh, there it goes. Take this. Start on the head. What do we see in the frame? Let's see what you guys have been saying. Rice, about the anime film, what I like about the message is that it's worth living and going for the life you really want. If something is written wrong, sorry for my bad English. No, this is great. You're good, Adriana, no worries. And that sounds awesome. I really like Japanese takes on life. That philosophy really hits in humanity in us from a different side than what we're used to in the West. That's right, I love Japanese philosophy. Hell yeah, Japanese philosophy is great. Summer Ghost. It's 100% 100%. That's 100%. Go after what you want. And that's my big message. Also, by the way, did I mention that I wanted to become a Buddhist priest at one point in my life? But yeah, going after what you want in life, that is so beautiful. I mean, that's what I try to tell everybody. You gotta take those chances. You gotta take those risks, because at the end of the day, you can do it. Yep, for real. And right when I said I wanted to become a Buddhist priest, 2 people just bounced. Just right now, but it's all good. Yeah, it was. So I'll talk about my story another time, but I really try hard to live by Buddhist philosophy, but it's really tough. I mean, like any religion, it's very tough. But what's great is that there isn't this perfection you're trying to... It's not this perfection you're trying to hit. Yeah, I also want to go to Japan again. Haven't been there in a while. I want to take the family. Yeah, I'll let them go. It's all good. But, yeah, I'll talk about my journey sometime. Buddhism, just religion in general, is very beautiful. It really helps us understand what we're going through. Why don't I throw in a light source? Like right here. And right there. Right there. But it's really cool that you guys are interested in the Japanese philosophy. Nothing is perfect, though. Things are impermanent. Those are some of the basic things that I try to live by. I think as artists, that side of us is so important to balance. Totally. I mean, for me, I see things like, since I'm in the, living in the United States, like I don't know if it's about living in the United States, but like I see things so black and white, where in the Buddhist philosophy, it's very much gray. It's very like it sees things in the rawest form, and being honest with yourself, like being like, hey, look, I am not good at drawing, but I can get better. I mean, I could be like, hey, I know everything, but is that really being honest with yourself? How can we be more honest with ourselves? When artists starve their soul, they get burnout or really stray. Yup. This Buddhist mindset is always like, ask a question, be understand the concept. Totally. Open-mindedness. And like, that's like the whole thing. Like the other day I was talking about, I don't claim to know everything. I'm always learning, because if you stop learning, well, no. If you know everything, it's going to be pretty boring. So it's really good to always see yourself as a beginner. That's a big thing that I I strive to do. But, you know, there are times when you're with directors and you can't be that beginner, you have to be that expert. And that's when you pull out the big guns. That's when you show that you know certain things. But at the same time, there are things that they know that you don't know. And that's when you got to keep that open mind. Always be okay with adjusting. No one has all the answers. I'll tell you, I'm learning so much from just teaching like this. It's so much fun. Let's turn that opacity down. Let's go to multiply. Let's turn it down a little bit more. Man, it would be really cool one of these days to have, you know, everyone on Discord and we could just have like a video chat. That'd be fun. Oh yeah. If anybody is interested in the Discord, here, let me see, where is my Discord? Here we are. Let me just throw in my Discord channel, invite people. Let's copy that. And then we could all meet each other, you know, face to face. It'd be pretty dope. It's all about relationships, guys. And gals. I'm going a little too far on this image. Oh wow, been on for almost 2 hours. Then let's throw in the blacks. not sure what that is, but yeah, so here's my tilt. See if I can find the image online of it. Where is it? It was this image right here. I had him in the wrong place. Yeah, Andrew, of course, man. Thank you for showing appreciation. I could be doing something else with the mornings, but this allows me to focus on something that I do love, and I'm getting a lot of value out of it myself. Thank you guys for showing up. I always want to keep figuring out other ways of doing cool stuff. And one day maybe we all can meet each other. That'd be cool. Any questions, feel free to, jump in the Discord or write your questions in the comment section. But you guys have a great rest of your day, and let's all be kind to one another. It's a weird time we live in, but history does repeat itself. Anyhow, have a great rest of your day, you guys, and thanks for joining in. I'll be on tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pacific, and we'll figure this all out. All right, you guys, have a great rest of your day. Bye.